Mhm.
on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch all together. This
Yeah.
is the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. Very exciting show. Learning lots of stuff, growing together with
Yes.
Anthony Cheam's life experience and years worth of research into some of the most amazing people on planet Earth. I'm excited just to hear about this topic of letting go because it is a lot more difficult than it seems.
Yeah. Oh,
Definitely.
yeah.
So
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
let's.
No
I'm gonna
doubt.
press record in 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and healers, gamers and claimers from around the universe, from around the globe, from around the community, wherever you are, in your car, at home, at work, wherever you are, welcome to the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. I am your host, Anthony Cheam, life coach, speaker, trainer, author, friend to you, wanting so badly, desiring so bad, thirsting for it and starving for it to give you the best of what I've learned in the past 15, 20 years of studying the self-help world and from various topics in emotional, fitness, psychology, philosophy, spirituality, peak performance, and anything I could get my hands on to be a better human being so I can help others. And that's what this show is all about, to help you claim your power, clarify your purpose, and cultivate your deepest, widest, and highest passions. So ultimately you can show up as a better, upgraded, updated, installed, best version, latest version of yourself, your highest skills, highest wisdom, highest capacities and potentialities, and show up as a better version of yourself, live the best life, and then ultimately to inspire others to do the same. Thank you for joining us. I am excited for this podcast. We're going to continue on with the Q&A questionnaire that I get throughout my day, throughout my week, whether it be on email or from clients or from various books that I study and read, and various topics about the universe, about life, about how to make your life better. Just make your life better and to live more happily, free of the pains and the angst of living this life, and to change your focus. Little simple strategies like that. So thank you for joining us. God bless you guys for joining us and sharing this podcast to the world and spreading the message of goodness and love and compassion. So thank you. What's up, everybody? What's up there, Cam? What's going on, man?
What's up? Not nearly as energetic as Anthony today, obviously.
Okay.
But
I've been up since 3 o'clock. That's why, man. That's why.
3 o'clock. Wow.
3 a.m., bro. That's what I'm talking about.
I think that's around the time I went to sleep, honestly.
You're a night owl. I'm a morning person. That's okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm a morning person. Sometimes I enjoy waking up with the sun, but lately it's been a lot of late nights. But
oh, that's all right.
no,
That's all right.
I'm doing very well. I
Good.
am basically in one of those, situations that everybody has in their life where this is the moment where you have to learn the most. And one thing that I would say to everybody listening to the show, give yourself a little bit of credit for even trying. Just give yourself some credit for trying, because not many people try. Maybe people are trying, but they're just doing the wrong thing. I don't know. But you're really putting effort towards becoming a better person. And that in itself deserves a little bit of self-love. So that's, I just want to
clap to you guys out there that are listening to a podcast like this, that are reading the books that are going to enhance your life. I agree. I've been in this. I'm going to be honest, brutally honest with the people out there. And thank you for bringing that up there, Cam, is that I've been studying this stuff for a long time, a very long time, reading books, attending seminars. People that know me, I've been doing this for a long time, and purchasing audio programs, getting certifications, just delving deeper and deeper and wider and higher so I can live better and then teach it to others. And I I'm probably still in grade 2 or 3 when it comes to this stuff. I truly feel like I'm still there. I'm nowhere near. I have my heroes like a Nelson Mandela or a Gandhi or a Tony Robbins or a Wayne Dyer or a Jesus Christ or a Lao Tzu or any of these big names, Ken Wilber, all these big guys. I feel like they are like a triple PhD and I'm still in grade 2 or 3. And that excites me. That both gets me fearful and excited at the same time, because I realize there's so much more to learn, but I love it. I love the journey. And I often say to people, one of the metaphors I like to say to people about that there, Cam, is that even though you can never touch the sun's perfect illumination and luminosity and heat and love that it shares on this planet, you get as close to the heat as humanly possible. Even though you can't get to absolute perfection, you can get as close to it as humanly possible while you're here on this planet. So to the people that are out there grinding it out, and purging their life and cleansing their life and struggling and gaining strength and insight from that, man, I award you. I applaud you. I love you. And to your courage, I can tell you that takes lots of courage to do that. So thank you for listening to this. Thank you for being an inspiration in this world to me and to the people around you as well. I'm sure you are a part of that process, and you're sharing in this power partnership with us, Cam and I, and the rest of the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast ease and listeners out there. So thank you. And this week's podcast, or today's podcast, its title is "Let Go ... Now." And one of the things I came across lately, and this is personally a problem for me too, that I come across, is that how to let go of disappointments, how to let go of a mistake, how to let go of a failure, and do it quickly. And some people just dive into their failure and their shame and their disappointment, and they just stay there, and they stay there. And they marinate, and they just stay there. And trust me, I know what that feels like, where you just weeks or months or years even, where you just spend your life having a pity party. Just, oh my God, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. I can't do anything right. My life sucks. I've always been a procrastinator. I'm just going to end it now. It's like, I've been there. I know what that feels like. But I've grown enough and learned enough to go from the time that I make the mistake to the time I correct it, it's diminished in the time that I do it, as opposed to waiting a month or waiting 2 months or waiting a year. Now I've got it down to, maybe a couple hours, maybe some days, maybe a few minutes, even maybe a couple seconds in some cases when I'm really on and I'm turned on big time. And other times it takes me a month to learn it. But other times, you know what? Respect and honor the struggle. Cam talked about the hallway. You enter a new hallway of confusion, and it's good. That's where you extract the most growth, extract the most lessons and the wisdom from that. And I've used this before, where you've exited one door and you're sitting in that sort of what they call liminal space from the time you just exited one door, but your immediate sort of reaction is to enter into a new door or run back to the old one, where the most growth happens when you sit in that hallway and just learn what you need to learn, but not stay there, like sit there for years. So some people do sit there for years. And I have to say that I've learned the most in that hallway, in that sort of deep place between the time you just lost your job, or the time you can't really find a job, or the time you just broke up with a relationship and you haven't found a new one, or the time you just went from bankruptcy and you've lost all your money, to the time you don't even know how you're going to get or pay your bills or your next phone bill or whatever it might be. So anyway, how do you let go of failure? How do you let go from moment to moment, those mistakes, those daily challenges that inevitably show up? And one of the things I've learned is this. One of the greatest metaphors that I remember hearing Wayne Dyer say was this. Imagine you are on a boat and you are traveling at 40 knots, and you're going at 40 knots. And here's 3 questions you ask yourself. Number 1, what is driving the boat? And you go, all right, just the engine of the boat, your present moment thoughts and actions in the moment. And then you ask yourself, what is the wake? Just the past that the boat makes, right? You drive the boat, and then the wake, the trail that the boat leaves behind you, your past. Now, the third question, probably the most important question, is it possible for the wake behind you to drive the boat? Right? Is it absolutely possible for the wake behind you to drive the boat? And the answer is it's absurd. The wake can't drive the boat. So we as humans have figured out a way, our brains, to go, oh, our past is driving us into our future. But no, it's not possible. We're just allowing it, or we are under the perception or perception that our past is driving us in the future. Now, one of the things I've learned about that is this. You make a mistake, you ask yourself this question: I just screwed up. What can I learn from that that mistake? What have I learned from that mistake? What can I do to what lesson can I extract from that mistake that I just learned to move me forward into the next, so I can just a little bit wiser, a little bit smarter, a little bit more cautious the next time I come across this challenge. A baby, as they say, falls 400 times on average before it takes its first steps. You don't go up to a baby when it falls its first time and go, oh, you fell once, you're a failure, you're a complete loser. No, you encourage the baby to get up, make corrections, make corrections, make corrections. In fact, I remember reading one of the very first self-help books that I read was that first shot to the moon, first space shuttle that went to the moon, was off course 90% of the times. 90%. It was off the course. It was constantly making course corrections along the way. Oh, you're off by a little bit. Okay, make the course correction. It wasn't going, oh my gosh, we're off. We're going to crash. We're never going to make it. No, it acknowledged that it made a mistake. It was off course, and then it made the necessary correction to get back on course. And that's what you must do. Like, acknowledge the fact that you were off course or you just made a mistake, extract the lesson, and then course correct. Action, feedback, correction. Action, feedback, correction. If you're learning an instrument like guitar or piano, you just screwed up a note, you take action, you get the feedback. Oh, that wasn't the right note I played. Then you do the correction. Then you act again. Action, feedback, correction. And it seems so silly and so simple, but not easy, because we then introduce human emotion about disappointment. Oh, I've tried this 10 times. It's not working. Well, try it another, as I heard one guy say, failure is falling 1,000 times and getting up 1,001 times. You try, act, feedback, you make the correction. And one of the things I've also learned too about letting go and learning from what you've just done, mistakes, screw ups, whatever it might be, in your failures, is get a coach or get a mentor in that particular area that you're trying to get better in. And that will accelerate your growth. Like 10 times. And there's a great book I highly recommend people out there read. It's called Talent is Overrated by Jeff Colvin. And he wrote this book, and he was proven that talent alone can't get you there. Talent alone cannot get you there. He goes over multitude of people that are masters in various skill sets and various geniuses. And really, they weren't genius. What was genius was their discipline, was their practice, was their ability to what they call disciplined or deliberate practice, where they would have a mentor coach them while they're, as an example, if you're a golfer, you're trying to master your golf swing or whatever it might be, they had a coach there coaching them and making minute changes. It's not good to do it on your own. It's not good to learn how to play guitar without actually learning, whether it be online or from a coach or from the drummers. I remember reading about this guy, the guitarist for Metallica. He started taking lessons from one of the greatest guitar teachers in the world. And he became one of the greatest rock and roll, heavy metal guitarists in the world, because he was just deliberate about his practice, about hiring the best of the best to teach him how to play the guitar at the greatest level. And he became one of the greatest guitarists in heavy metal history. And he was actually in the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And and the author talks about that journey. And it's amazing. So get a coach, get a mentor, get someone that can guide you in the area that you wish to master and get better in. So when you do make a mistake, you bring it to your mentor, you bring it to your coach, you deliberately tell them, this is the mistake, this is where I'm screwing up, how do I correct it? And that way they can give you immediate feedback while you're making the mistake. And that way you can correct it immediately, rather than go home, practice for a whole month on whatever you're doing, and then only to go back to your mentor and they, well, you've been practicing for a month. You basically been mastering your mistakes, as Dennis Waitley says. You don't want to master and practice your mistakes. You want to make the mistake, acknowledge, oh wait, I'm not doing it properly. Go to your mentor, acknowledge it, and then have your mentor or your coach tell you, this is how you correct it, and then go to work on making the course correction and practicing it. So that's one of the ways that I use to let go. That's the surface level. Now, the second level of this is literally being able to master and manage your state. And I've done shows on this before about how to manage and master your state. You've made a mistake. You indulge in pity and disappointment, and I suck, I'm no good, all this stuff. You got to literally break that pattern before it becomes a full-blown Godzilla who eats all of Japan, right? You got to literally go, oh, I'm about to go into this, like, oh, pity party, woe is me, I'm a loser type state. Change your state, change your language. We've talked about this before. Tony Robbins calls this the triad: focus, physiology, and language. First, be aware that you're about to go in that downward state. Change your state. And one of the things that I do, I literally get in a down state and I catch myself and I go, oh, and then I literally do this. I catch myself and I go, what would Tony Robbins do? Or what would Wayne Dyer tell me right now? Change your state. And I would literally repeat the following phrase about 15 times. And I do it exactly the way I'm showing you. And I've done this before on the show, and Cam knows I do this. I've done this before. And I literally go, God's wealth, health, wisdom, power, love, and energy circulates in my life. His wealth, health, wisdom, power, love, and energy flows, glows, and surges to me, through me, as me, in avalanches, hurricanes, tidal waves, tornadoes, vortex, explosions, eruptions, thunders, booms, and lightning bolts of abundance. All my needs, desires, goals, intentions, and dreams are met now, instantaneously, by infinite intelligence, for I'm one with God, and God is everything. And then I repeat it like 10, 15, 20 times, whatever it takes to change my state. So I'm in a state of empowerment, so I can view my mistake at a state of empowerment, at a state of velocity. And then I can look at that mistake with total focus and strength and courage, and a knowingness that I can extract whatever lesson and then make a correction immediately. But you can't do that from a downward state, from a low state, from an unresourceful state, when you're like, oh, I just made 2 mistakes. I didn't make the phone call. I didn't make the sale that I was supposed to make. Or I've been practicing the song for a week and it's not working out. You're not going to create solutions from that state. So you got to literally be aware that you're in that state, break it, and then literally change it by doing exactly what I just showed you. Change how you're moving your body, changing what you're doing with your mind, changing your language, and repeat it over and over until you are at a maximum state. And you will show up with more clarity. You will show up with more focus. You'll show up with more desire and determination. And trust me when I say that, the more you do that, the more you condition that, your ability to look at challenges that way and be able to trigger you into higher states of awareness and higher states of empowerment, man, your acceleration will just go through the roof. And so I will let Cam take it from here. Any side notes on that, man?
I really like the fact that you touched on course correction.
Yeah.
Because really, like, we're always constantly kind of off course if you really think about it. But if we had that progressive mindset, like you said, where everything is a moment to learn, and you're at a position of power and you're like, okay, I understand. Let's change. Cool. Next. Yeah. And if only we could get ourselves to that state, and which you mentioned, get up, do the things that pumps you up. For me, it'd be, playing music really loud and singing along to it, or, having a coffee, going for a run, getting energy of some sort.
Yes,
and then looking at it from that position. I remember I made a video. It was called Perspective or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. And the first words of the article were, infinity can't be understood from a finite perspective. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right now, when you're down, you're living in a finite world. And Excellent. If you could just power yourself up to infinity, then finite is this tiny thing and you see the whole picture. Yes. And so that's a huge, huge thing. As well as when you take a step back and see your whole life as a big picture, look at your childhood, and really, like, what helps me is I imagine, like, as if it was a movie, me growing up and me experiencing what I've experienced, talking to who I've talked to, all this thing, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then I'm here. And then it sort of tells me, like, this little thing that's going on is like a sliver of what I've lived and what I've been through and what I care about, and all these things, And I could also just say, look at the bright side. Like if there's somebody out there that hates you, focus on the people who love you. If there's something that you don't know, focus on the things that you know, and, like, give yourself some credit for having some talent or whatever it might be. That's basically all I have to say about that.
Well, you know what, you touch upon a tremendous point, what they call reframing, right? Reframing your focus and saying, in this particular case, my life isn't that bad compared to so-and-so. I actually had that experience today where I was having a little bit of a trouble, a little challenge, emotional issue, whatever it might be. I was exhausted, whatever it is. And I was kind of just, when you get in that exhaustion mode and you're just like, you get into a pity party, and from that state, you start to see everything as horrible, right? And then I remember I was reading my emails, going through some work, and I got an email, and I won't share their names, but I got an email, and I just, and the person shared with me that the person was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was like, oh, I just slapped myself in the face. Like, get over it, right, Anthony? Like, oh my gosh. And then I know this person quite well, and the person had gone through tough times. We're talking tough times. You're talking about hard times. This person is, like, gone through already, enough. I won't get into too much, but basically their life partner left, and she's basically left to fend for herself. and with her children, and then she gets diagnosed with this. I mean, that's just, I mean, you get things put into perspective. It's like, oh my gosh, my legs hurt, and then a person with no legs is in a wheelchair beside. Hey, can you help me open the door? and you go, oh yeah, my life isn't so bad, right? So we all need to. Life provides us with plenty of ways to reframe our experience, but we can do it on ourselves too, and we do it. We do it with other people all the time. And I was talking to someone about, I don't have a lot of money. I said, you realize there are 2/3 of the people that live off $10 a day. And they're like, whoa, man, I'm not that poor. And they're like, okay, you know what? Did you have to walk a mile to go get your water? They're like, no. Did you have to go salt your mines to go get your salt? No. Did you have to go catch fish in the ocean to get your fish? No. Did you have to go to the farms and, pluck your strawberries? No. You know what I'm saying? So, and then all of a sudden, the person's perspective changes, and all of a sudden they don't feel so bad. So it's good to learn that reframing, to Cam's point, but also too, I mean, what he says, Cam just said something of a tremendous value as well to add to this, is have a little bit of compassion, give yourself credit. But I think what it really comes down to is basically learning to forgive yourself and go, I'm a human being. I just made a mistake. I'm not perfect. I'm not meant to be perfect. But my abilities in able to take action, get the feedback, and course correct, that is perfect. Your ability to do that, this mind is the most powerful supercomputer on the planet. The only problem is we haven't been given any instructions on how to use it. So one of the things you can do is action. You get feedback. Is it working? No. Correction. And then act again. Right? And then course correct until you finally reach your destination. And then also too, being able to manage and master your state, and being able to let go, forgive yourself. And as I heard one great metaphor, if someone hurts you, how do you let go of that? If someone hurts you, well, here's the thing, we're all being bitten by snakes every single day, but it's not what kills you is not the snake bite. It's the venom that seeps into your blood that kills you, not the snake bite. It's not the snake bite that kills people. It's the snake bite. And then that snake bite then seeps venom into your veins. And the venom that we use is unforgiveness, is hate, it's resentment. As I was saying to somebody the other day, hating your parents and punishing them by not doing anything with your life is like holding a hot coal in your hand with the intent of throwing it at them. Who are you really hurting? Who's really getting burned? You're holding the hot coal. And you're wanting to throw it at them, but who's it really hurting? It's burning yourself. So just remember, just forgive, let go. I'm not saying forget. It's not possible. Anything that you've seen or learned or smelt or tasted, it's somewhere in the subconscious mind. Learning to let go and saying, you know what, I'm not gonna no longer beat myself up or resent that person anymore. I'm gonna let go, and I'm gonna be free to be me, and I'm gonna move on with compassion for myself and to the world. It's a lot easier said than done, but the more you practice it, the more you inculcate that wisdom, the more happy and more free you're gonna be, and you're gonna be able to live a better and more happy life, which is what this show is all about. So, Cam, any final thoughts, my friend?
No, that's about it. That was good.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's good. That's good. All right. Well, listen, thank you for joining us on the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. If you like this podcast, subscribe, like, comment, ask questions. We're going to continue on with the Q&A sessions, and any topics, hot topics, simple topics that I can get discussed. Fire them out to me, and I'm here to serve you and here to give you the best of what we've got. So to your continued upgrade and evolution, live it up with power, purpose, and passion into your continued endeavors and fulfillments and desires. May they be fulfilled in your deepest desires and your dreams. Thank you, guys. We love you. God bless.